Good morning, friends. It's Miss Amber, and I'm here in my office or my guest room or my art studio to read you another book today. The story I have today is a little bit sad. I'm really sorry that it's kind of a sad story, but it's a little bit sad at first. Then it might get happier. You know, I love a happy ending in my stories. But sometimes stories end and they're sad, and that's okay too. I love all stories. You know, I love to read. Last time I read you a book, we talked about the author and the illustrator. We always talk about them because the author writes the words and the illustrator draws the pictures. But we also talked about another really important job because our friend Nina published a book. And who helped her publish her book? She wrote the words and she colored the pictures, but who published it? Who helped her type it and send it out? Her mom and dad, her parents, her family. So someone has to help publish all of the books that get written. So there's lots of different publishers or publishing houses where books get made. This book was written by Trudy Ludwig. It was illustrated by Patrice Barton. And the publisher I found on the back of the book, you see this little symbol? This book was published by Random House Publishing. Random. And they're nice enough to let us read the books to our friends at school while we can't be at school. So this book is called The Invisible Boy. Can you see him? Is he really invisible? Can you really be invisible? Maybe if you wear camouflage and you try to hide yourself in the forest, but he's not really invisible. I can see him. The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig, illustrated by Patrice Barton. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Miss Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. Who do you think Mrs. Carlotti is? His teacher. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carletti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. He's too loud. He's using his outside voice when he's inside the classroom. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. You can barely see him when Nathan and Sophie are taking up so much space, so much colors. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball team. The best players get picks first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. How does it look like Brian's feeling? Do you think that he feels nice because the other kids started playing without him? Would you like that if all of your friends started playing a game and didn't invite you to play? I don't think I would like that. I want to be included. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. It was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. I don't like that. At choosing time, while the other kids played board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings. Thank you for toasting my marshmallow. Space aliens locked in intergalactic battles. I got you now. Greedy pirates digging for treasure. Crackers? Arg. Yay! And superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. Hi. Hi, friend. Have a cookie. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. Looks cool to me. I can only see the back of his head, but looks cool. Looks like a person. I like people, especially kid people. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. It's bulgogi. What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? No way. I would eat boogergi. And the kids laugh. All of them, that is. Except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. They both sound pretty bad to me. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin. I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian. Yum. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he adds, before taking off. What's happening to Brian? Can you see? He's not just black and white anymore. He's got a green arm. Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in 2s and 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in the photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. "Brian!" he hears someone shout. "Hey, Brian, over here!" Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. How do you think he's feeling now that he's being included? Do you think he'll join his friends? Cookie? Thanks! Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. The end. Was he ever really invisible? You could always see him. No one was paying attention to him. His friends weren't inviting him to hang out. It's always nice to be a friend. Even if it seems like someone doesn't really have a lot of friends, you could always try to be their friend. I'll be kind. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I hope you liked The Invisible Boy. And I hope wherever you are, you're feeling not invisible at all. I hope you're feeling loud and proud. I miss you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.